Call this meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. We move right into closed. Just
We're moving to close over now.
yes. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest, general nature thereof? Not seeing any. Consider that closed. Can I have a mover and a seconder to move into closed session? Councilor Armstrong, Councilor O'Neill, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We'll reconvene at 4:30. Everyone, welcome to our council meeting, March 5th. If I could have everyone please stand for Indigenous land acknowledgement.
We begin this meeting by acknowledging that Quinte West is on Indigenous land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. We thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, there have been Indigenous peoples who have been the stewards of this place. In particular, we acknowledge the traditional territories of the Anishinaabeg, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte First Nation. This territory is covered by numerous treaties. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize the contribution of the Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples have made, both in shaping and strengthening this community in particular, and our province and country as a whole. This acknowledgement serves as recognition of the contributions and historical significance of Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island and demonstrates our collective commitment to meet the promises and address the challenges of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission within our community.
Okay, we'll go around the table for announcements. Councillor Boyce, then Councillor Sharp.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to remind everyone of the March break event coming up at Battawa Community Centre from 10 till 3 with lots of activities as we start this special week. And thank you very much.
Councillor Card? No. Councillor Hillier? Councillor McHugh? Councillor New? Councillor Stadel?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just International Women's Day, I wanted to take a moment and talk about that. It's on Saturday, March 8th. And just a bit of background, the International Women's Day is celebrated by many countries around the world. And it's a day when women are recognized for their achievements without regard to divisions, whether national, ethnic, linguistic, cultural, economic, or political. So I would just remind everybody.
Why is Quinte out here eating her food?
I would just remind all the women to, enjoy the day and to celebrate the women on March the 8th. There are a number of activities that are going on in our community to celebrate, and one of them is tomorrow night. It's the International Women's Gala, Women Who Inspire, and there's also an International Women's Day free event on Saturday, and that's from 11 to 12:30. And another one on March 6th, Dare to Dream Luncheon at the Trentmore Port Marina. So lots of activities going on. And then after you finish celebrating, or while you're celebrating International Women's Day, you can celebrate an opening of a new store in town. The ISK store is opening, grand opening on Saturday morning at 8:30.
Councillor Armstrong?
Excuse me, a reminder of the Family Fest on Sunday, March 9th at Battawa Centre. Lots of opportunities there for the families, and the trucks that were named this winter will be there, I guess, along with face painting and all kinds of activities, s'mores and all that stuff. Okay.
Thank you.
From 10 to 3, I think.
Yes, 10 to 3, and it's a free event for everyone. Thank you. Councillor Cart, sir, you want?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to give a little bit of downtown news. The DBIA AGM will be held on March 18th at 6 p.m. for anyone members wanting to attend. And also the city's CIP program for property and business owners has been open for a little bit now. Link on Quinte West website. Look at replacing or supporting purchases of some long list of facade signage, etc. All the information on the website. Great program.
Okay, Councillor Reid.
Thank you. A great week it is. March 3rd to 9th is Random Acts of Kindness Week. It's a very important time. And so I would just like to remind everybody that every time is a good time to be kind, not just between March 3rd and 9th. So just try to reach out to somebody every day if you possibly can. Be kind, not just this week, but every week. Thank you.
Councillor Freeman.
I agree completely with what Councillor Reid said. Kindness is a gift that we can give to anybody. Thank you.
And Councillor Quinte.
Thanks very much. I just wanted to give a little reminder that at the end of last summer, as part of our asset management plan, Public Works put together an excellent report on our stormwater management systems throughout the city. And over the next few days, they will be tested, and I'm sure they will perform magnificently. Thanks so much.
Thank you, and mostly everything's been said. But this weekend, the Golden Hawks start their playoffs on Friday, and it was fitting that a woman councillor brought up International Women's Day, but I would also like to acknowledge this global celebration, as I have many women in my life that have a positive impact and make a huge difference. Okay. So are there, yes, Councillor Stella.
Sorry, Deputy Mayor. Just two other items, in reminding, is the survey for the elections is open. I know the Clerk's Department is looking for information, feedback on that. And also the Recreation Master Plan, looking for input on that as well from the public.
Thank you. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest, general nature thereof? Seeing none, consider that closed. May I have an approval of the agenda? Councillor McHugh, Councillor Allier, all in favor? That's carried. The minutes of the regular council meeting held on February 19th was approved. Thank you. Now we need a motion for the minutes of the Special Personnel Committee meeting on February 19th. Councillor Sharp, Councillor Boyce, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We have a public meeting. The Council for the City of Quinte West will hold a public meeting concerning surplus land north of 99 Dufferin Avenue, part of PIN 40384-0061, being Part 1, Caring Place Road, Registered Plan 164, Geographic Township of Murray. Please go ahead.
So notice was published in the Trentonian and Community Press on February 13th, 20th, and 27th, and published on the city website on February 13th, 2025. And the purpose of this meeting is to proceed with the declaration of surplus land. No written submissions or verbal inquiries were received during the notification period.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to delegations and presentations. City of Quinte West Area Planner will address us regarding the Planning Development Services pre-consultation process. Please go ahead, Davina.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor Kotsevich and members of council. My name is Davina, Policy Planner here at the city. I will be presenting an overview of the formalized pre-consultation process being introduced here, led by the Planning and Development Services. I will walk you through the purpose, benefits, and implementation of this process. What is pre-consultation? So pre-consultation is an early engagement opportunity between city staff, applicants, and stakeholders to discuss potential development proposals before a formal planning act application is submitted. This process provides clear guidance on application requirements, helps identify potential challenges, and aligns proposals with municipal planning objectives. While it is not mandatory, it is a valuable service that improves the overall quality and efficiency of the application process. In addition, there is no cost associated to this service for residents and developers. There are several benefits to having a formalized process. By having these discussions early, applicants gain a clearer understanding of zoning regulations, required studies, and any site-specific constraints that may impact their project. This proactive approach leads to better prepared applications and a more efficient approval process by addressing potential issues, such as traffic, environmental concerns, and infrastructure needs. The process also streamlines workflows, reducing delays and ensuring resources are used effectively. Additionally, it also promotes community-centered growth by aligning new developments with strategic municipal planning goals, and a structured discussion before formal submissions helps prevent incomplete applications, minimizing back and forth communication and saving time for both applicants and staff. By enhancing transparency and setting clear expectations in the early stages, this process leads to higher quality proposals and a more predictable approval timeline. There are 3 key stages to this process. First, there is an initial inquiry review where applicants present their development ideas and receive preliminary feedback. The second stage is applicants submit their formal pre-consultation application, after which city staff provide guidance and identify necessary studies or reports. Finally, the third stage, the process concludes with a final review and the issuance of a record of pre-consultation, which summarizes the discussions and outlines the next steps for a complete proposal for a complete application. These 3 stages ensure that every development proposal is thoroughly reviewed before a formal application is submitted, helping to reduce uncertainties and potential delays. This flowchart visually represents the structured approach to the process. It ensures that every step is clear for applicants, from initial inquiry to final documentation. By following this structured process, we provide a consistent experience for applicants and city staff. This chart also helps applicants understand the key milestones in this process, ensuring they are aware of the steps involved and the information required at each stage. As well, it is also beneficial for staff as they're able to track applications more effectively, ensuring that feedback is provided. To further assist applicants, we have developed a comprehensive pre-consultation guide. This document outlines the necessary steps and submission requirements, including key reports such as a planning justification report and environmental impact studies. It also includes important details on fees, relevant legislation, and city staff information for contacts. This guide is publicly available on the city website and in person, ensuring transparency and accessibility. By providing applicants with a clear roadmap, we can reduce incomplete submissions and improve the overall efficiency of the review process. This document will serve as a go-to resource for developers, property owners, and consultants looking to navigate this process. To efficiently manage this process, we are utilizing the Zoho system. This platform will allow city staff to track applications, streamline communication, and manage all stages of the process effectively. Staff have already received training and will continue to receive ongoing updates to ensure the system continues to meet operational needs. By centralizing all information in one system, we can improve response times and ensure consistency in the review process. We are also able to gather data such as the number of inquiries that we receive, and it will help us understand staff workload, timelines, etc. To ensure a smooth implementation, we have previously engaged with key stakeholders, including the Quinte Home Builders Association, to gather feedback and comments. Public and media communications have begun in late February and will continue on early March, using multiple channels such as social media, newspaper ads, electronic board signs, and rack cards to inform the public about the formalized process. A strong rollout strategy ensures that developers, property owners, and consultants are aware of the benefits of pre-consultation and understand how to engage the process. By leveraging multiple communication methods, we aim to reach a broad audience and encourage early participation in pre-consultation meetings. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions or comments. Thank you.
Any questions? Don, go ahead.
Hey, thanks so much for the presentation. I really wanted this to come before council for better distribution to our community, and I think this is a great idea. It's not mandatory that people follow this route, but I certainly see all the benefits as to why we would want to go this route, so that the planning department, as Davina mentioned, can plan for staffing, keep statistics on projects, which ones are going forward, how far along they are, and it's a service that will benefit our community and smooth the process over, making it seem like it isn't so daunting for people who want to go ahead with a project, who are going to get a helping, guiding hand. Thanks so much.
Moving on. Councillor Sharp?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much for your presentation in this program and the rollout to communicate it. As Councillor Quinte said, there's such great benefit for staff and the property owner, so they don't go too far along in a project that it may not meet the criteria, or very unlikely to be approved, and they've invested resources and time. So that pre-consultation will provide so much information and help, and I too strongly encourage anyone who wishes to change their property or develop a home or build a home, that this is so advantageous up front before you go too far. And if you carry on, you'll have all the regulation details, but the information there that you would need to have to get done, whether it's a traffic study or environmental or contact with Lower Trent or our conservation authorities. So this is a very helpful guideline, and it takes a lot of time. So property owners, if you go through the process, it doesn't take overnight. It's a very long process, but this information and communication will help expedite that to some degree if the communication is there. My question, I think this is wonderful, and my question is, with the Zoho system that I know staff are being trained on and so forth, is this interactive with the applicant? Do they have to go through that program, or is it more of an internal managing program? Or do all the documents have to go through Zoho?
Yeah,
Just trying to understand.
Through Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sharp, this is an internal system, so we will actually, there's nothing that's being changed that the resident needs to do. It's all done through email communication or whatever communication they choose to have with us, but it is just an internal system that that the planning department has been using or is going to use.
Yes. Dunk?
Thank you.
Sorry, Councillor Armstrong.
Oh, thank you. In your education to people, will you be utilizing case studies to sort of guide them, saying, this type of situation from start to finish, this is what took place, and it's similar, but it may not be the same, but just to give them a real picture of what's going on?
Yeah, through Deputy Mayor to Councillor Armstrong. We don't have any actual case studies that we've, we don't have them included in our guideline, in our pre-consultation guide. But we do have examples of we go into the stages and how they're able to continue on to the stages. But I think the goal here is that we are able to communicate with them at every stage, so that they're not blindly going into the pre-consultation. But we are able to include that if it's something that that we can do.
Councillor Card?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Try not to belabor the point, but thank you, Davina, for the presentation. Definitely a wonderful program. Will make the system more efficient, transparent, accessible. I think on a huge level, this will benefit regular people who are kind of managing their own projects, general contracting their own projects. I know, especially with the provincial push on accessory dwelling units and all of these opportunities for more building on just regular kind of family household properties. I think this is wonderful. I think it helps for those people to navigate expectations very clear. I think about the contact that we get from folks, sometimes comments regarding planning as counselors, and so many of them can be, I think, addressed through this, process by, everything transparent up front and kind of that guiding hand about the process. And I think along with e-permitting, this is two great steps that we've done recently to modernize our public-facing planning, building department systems, and I love it.
Thank you, Davina.
Thank you.
We'll open the floor to public input. Okay, there is no public input tonight. Move on to financial services resolution, the staff report 2025-00024 by Melanie Masser. The quarter purchasing status and non-standard purchasing updates be received. May I have a mover and seconder? Councillor Boyce, Councillor Stedall. Any discussion? Yes, Councillor Stedall.
Nothing in specific, just that the procurement staff seem to be fairly busy these days. There's quite a list of projects that are on there, so nothing specific.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. The next staff report, QW 2025-00028 by Matt Hodge. And this is the fourth quarter capital projects be received as information. May I have a mover? Councillor McHugh, Councillor Armstrong. Any discussion? Yes, Councillor Settle.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I guess there's a lot of projects on here, and the report is very extensive. I appreciate the information that has been provided. I just wondered if there was anything that staff wanted, if there's anything specific. We have another project on another report that's coming up that, it's pretty far over budget. I just wondered if there was anything on here that stands out that we should be specifically aware of.
Through you, Chair. Nothing specific, just in general, we've completed $32 million of projects in 2024, and of those $32 million, we were $3.2 million under budget in total for those projects. But you're right, there's $45 million of projects that are being carried forward to be completed in 25 and future years. So that's probably the big takeaway, is the amount of projects that we still have to complete on top of the 2025 projects that were also approved.
Okay, the following report is also QW 2025-00029, also from Matt, and it is also to be received as information. May I have a mover and seconder? Councillor Elliott? Councillor McHugh, any discussion on that? All in favor? That's carried, thank you. Matt is busy because we have QW 2025-00030, and that's also to be received as information. Mover and seconder. Look at Councillor Sharp, Councillor Card. Discussion? Yes, Councillor Stedall.
Sorry, I'm mixed up with one report. So the operating report, I think that we just passed. So we were over budget and it was transferred from reserves in the operations. Is that my understanding?
Through you, Chair. In general, we're barely over, like 0.01. We're over by that because the insurance deductible was under budget, so that includes that reserve transfer of 266,000. Also, the winter control at the end of '24 was under budget by $1 million. So we've put the transfer into the winter control reserve. So both those reserve transfers have put us slightly over budget, but both those items were unbudgeted transfers. So in general, our reserve balance is net higher than we had budgeted for.
And the other report is on the water. So I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure which report we're on, but the water, it was under budget, the operations?
Through you, Chair. Yes, the water portion was slightly over budget, so our reserve transfer is slightly less than we budgeted for. But on the sewer side, we're 550 under budget. So the reserve transfer that we've budgeted for, our actual is projecting to be about 550,000 more than what we budgeted for, mostly due to debt payments coming on later than we had budgeted for.
Final follow-up question. So overall, our capital reserves then for, I guess, both of the city, the main general, as well as the water sewer, are we on target with where the reserves are ending up at the end of the fiscal year?
Through your chair, yes, the city will be exactly on budget for the capital reserve transfers, and the water will be $500,000 more into the capital reserve transfer than we budgeted for.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on to staff report QW 2025-00032, and this is regarding public sector salary. May that be received. A mover and a seconder. We have Councillor Freeman, Councillor Reid. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Staff report QW 2025-00033. And this is also for Matt, and it's regarding councillor remuneration be received. Mover and a seconder. Councillor McHugh, Councillor Boyce. Any discussion? Yes, Councillor Quinte.
I just wanted to state that in my remuneration, there's a contribution from Quinte Conservation, which I donate back to Quinte Conservation. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, Councillor Sher.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to, since Councillor Quinte brought up Quinte Conservation, congratulate him on being the new chair of the board.
Hey, thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
Great. All in favor for that report? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on to Public Works and Environmental Services. Staff report QW 2025-00034. Robert Jackson and Matt Trace. We are at the West End Water Main Loop. Additional funds be received. May I have a mover and seconder for that? Councillor Freeman is moving. Councillor McHugh second. Discussion? Yes, Councillor Settle.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So a couple of questions. First of all, I mean, this is a large over expenditure and it's going to affect our development charges. And so I just wondered this, I guess my question is, when were we aware of this over expenditure, that it was going to happen? Because I see there's a number of different reasons that it's happened. And there's a point as well in the report which refers to the HECS funding. And I'm just wondering if there can be a better explanation on that.
Through you, I'll start on this one. I was generally responsible for the design and the project until construction, and I did step in and help Mr. Jackson through the construction period. Most of the overages are related to the geotechnical work, and a lot of it's related to the rail crossing. So in terms of that, that was the kind of the last part of the project. So it was, I guess, in the fall of the of 24. So that when that finished, so yeah, it was near the end of the project. We did provide some updates along the way through the quarterly general reports, but the larger trending of the expenses were due to the final water main going underneath the tracks. A number of the items, we did anticipate in the budget some items, but they did the cost for the additional costs dealing with CNCP for their flagging costs and safety costs and we had some settlement along the way of the tracks that extended the length of time we had to do monitoring. So it added up. It was significant, yes.
Okay, Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe in January, we were informed the province gave us funding of almost $11 million. And we hadn't budgeted for that, so how will that affect Quinte West?
Yeah, through Chair. So the funding that Councillor O'Neill is referring to is for different projects, but these projects were funded by development charges. So overall, it provides some relief to the development charge fund. And this project was also funded by development charges. So there's maybe an indirect but a related benefit to that funding announcement and this project going over, if that's what we're referring to.
Okay. Councillor Sharp, did you have your hand up before?
If I could, Mr. Chair, I think Councillor Stedall asked some of the questions I had, and they've been well covered. I just to Mr. Tracy. So basically, in this particular project, the complexity, the rails involved in working there, and also soil and geotech was the big impact for this overage overall. Would you summarize it that way?
Yes. Mr. Jackson and I reviewed the project and we worked along through that, and that summarizes that.
And supplementary, if I could, Mr. Chair, so thank you for that. In our budget, we did approve, I believe, a project manager to help with construction projects as well. Just since we're on this project, how are we progressing with that position? There's so many projects.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, to Councillor Sharp. We've since hired a project manager. We received 5 applicants, and we promoted internally for that position. So that person is well on their way to assisting with this year's capital projects.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, and Director Angelo wants to provide additional comments?
No, that's fine, your word.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Card?
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Through you to staff, I guess I just had a question kind of related to the geotechnical work and the soils and everything. Is this more of, I guess, bad luck in terms of what the borehole, what information that gave you, or are there any changes in some of that preparation work, the geotechnical work before the project, or engineering that could have availed itself to the soil conditions? I guess that would be my first question. And then part 2, I don't know enough about the specifics, but would the path of this project have been different, or how would it have been changed significantly if you were aware of those soil conditions beforehand?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, to Councillor Card. Good questions. So the best technology that we have with respect to geotechnical testing is boring down into the soil. So whether that's 3 meters down or 4 meters, but that bore itself is only 2 to 4 inches in diameter. And so if you miss boulders, if you miss clay pieces, all you're getting is such a small snapshot, like a 2-inch hole every 50 to 100 meters along the route. And unfortunately, that's just the best technology that we have today. It seems so primitive. Ground penetrating radar is only good for a meter, and it doesn't provide the information that we need. So, you do your best, but that's that's really, it's just luck sometimes what it comes down to with the soil testing. Whether or not the path would change, there's a lot of factors that went into the alignment of the water main. Some of that was environmental around the Tremor Lake property, avoiding turtle sanctuaries, avoiding wetlands. And I think if we had known more of the information, we wouldn't have changed the path, but what we would have done is change the tender quantities, like in the contract, or change the way that some of that was executed. It's really easy to say that in hindsight, but those are things that you just don't know going into it.
Anyone else? All right, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Correspondence for council decision. This is a long one, so I would just ask that the resolution is support Loyalist College and advocacy against recent reforms to the International Student Program and reduce tuition fees. Receive as written. All right. Councillor McHugh moves it. Councillor Sharp seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Proclamations that Council proclaim Wednesday, March 24th, 2025 as World Tuberculosis Day in the City of Quinte West, and further, that Quinte West sign and the Veteran Skyway Bridge be illuminated in color red on March 24th, 2025, pending no scheduling conflicts. I have a mover and a seconder for that. Councillor McHugh, Councillor Freeman, all in favor? That's carried. Council proclaim Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025 as World Autism Day in the City of Quinte West. And further, that Quinte West sign and Veteran Skyway Bridge be illuminated in the color green on Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025, pending no scheduled conflicts. And further, that Council participate with a flag raising to fly a flag in honor of World Autism Awareness Day and join in celebrating the spectrum. May I have a mover and seconder? Councillor Reid, Councillor Boyce, all in favor? That's carried. Council proclaim the month of April 2025 as the month of the military child in the City of Quinte West. And further, that Council proclaim Monday, April 28th, 2025 as Teal Up Day in the City of Quinte West. And further, that Quinte West sign and the Veteran Skyway Bridge be illuminated in the color teal blue for the month of April, pending no scheduling conflicts. A mover and a seconder for that. Councillor Freeman, Councillor Card, all in favor? That's carried. I'll have a mover and a seconder to receive all printed and non-printed information. Okay, Councillor McHugh, Councillor Elliott, all in favor? That's carried, thank you. There are no notices of motion. We'll go around the table if there is any new or other business. We'll start virtually. Councillor Reid?
Yes, thank you very much. There's been a lot of interest, as I'm sure everybody's aware, in us flying our Canadian flags. And I've been approached by different people, and I agree totally with them. They thought it would be great for us to fly the Canadian flag banners across the bridges in Trenton and in Frankfurt, and possibly into the immediate downtown cores of Trenton and Frankfurt. We are the gateway to this Trent Severn waterway, and people are very proud of their country, and more Canadian flags are being seen every day. So I thought it would be nice for Quinte West to display our Canadian flag wherever we can. I wondered, Director Grimman, if this would be possible to look into this, especially this year, about this idea and perhaps the possible costing of putting Canadian flag banners across the two bridges in Trenton and Frankfurt Bridge, river and canal.
Thank you, through the Deputy Mayor, to Councillor Reid. Certainly, we're open to looking into that. I know Councillor Reid and I have had a conversation on this as well. The banners that we do fly and kind of change out seasonally on a lot of the street poles. We have a couple of different versions of those, but if we could bring back some information for Council's consideration, I'd be happy to do that if there was a motion to do so. I think it would probably make sense with the information that we were asked to come back on regarding Councillor Stettle's previous motion regarding the Shop Local campaign. If council wanted to consider us rolling that into that same information, I'd be happy to do that as well.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, seconder. Yeah, Councillor Stettle? All in favor? That's carried, thank you. Any other new business on the videos? Oh, okay. Councillor Armstrong?
I was wondering if Director Grimman can give us any kind of update on our Shop Local program that's related to the tariff aspect that's going on. Brighton and Belleville have created a portal. Have we got anything in the works for that? I know there was a motion by Councillor Stettle last week, but I'm not sure if that's sort of the same.
Thank you, through the chair, to Councillor Armstrong. Yes, we are still working through on Councillor Stettle's motion, as there was a number of different points and nuances to that. Regarding the tariffs, the city has launched a webpage as of this afternoon, quintewest.ca/tariffs, and you can find information there, I think, that you're looking for. Our economic development team and communications groups have worked quickly and hard to get that information online to support the local business community. Additionally, there'll be some accompanying social posts that you'll see. Our economic development team is also making some industry visits and have also just issued another economic development newsletter with that information as well.
On our phone system and throughout the city, we're asking people to select the method for voting in the next election. Is it only one option they're given? Or are they given four? No, I mean, can they choose more than one option? That's the question. Because it hasn't been decided if we're going to be using one or two or three options, correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Armstrong, yes, you are correct. They get to choose one option, but council, we will be having that public meeting in April. And then council will make the decision and provide their input as to which methods they would like to see for the 2026 election.
Okay, Councillor Stettle?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A question about the survey for the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. The input, I understand there was lots of people that are at the open house, but I understand that there would be additional information possibly available this Saturday in Battawa. Is that correct?
Thank you, through the chair, to Councillor Stettle. Yes, thank you for throwing back to me on that. Yes, myself and a member of our staff team will be manning a booth at the Quinte West Family Fest in Battawa this coming Sunday to receive the public's information with regards to the draft master plan. We've also got an engagement page up on the city's Get Involved platform, getinvolved.quintewest.ca/ Parks and Rec plan. So you'll see the timelines of the engagement survey, the link there, and also the information in terms of us participating in the Quinte West Family Fest. So certainly invite people to stop out to the table and talk to us about all the things that they might be interested in. We'll have some information about the plan with us there, and we'll also be collaborating with the City Clerk's Department, who will be doing some engagement on the election as well.
Councillor O'Neill? Councillor McHugh?
Yeah, just a little public service announcement here. With all the rain that we're getting, of course, possibly could be some flash flooding in places, but ice, stay off the ice, please. I know the ice that's had to be off the end of the month. It's not only soft ice, but the water around it will cause the tent to sink down and make it less strong. So please stay off the ice. And if you ever run into this situation where you have an animal, a pet that's got ice, please do not try to rescue yourself. Call the professionals, get hold of the fire department. Thank you.
Councillor Elliott?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Just a couple items. In regards to the voting, I know most of it's the method of how we want to do it. One question that I've had, and I know I'm a Murray guy, but I have some friends and relatives that live in Sydney, northeast Sydney, and I know the last time we talked about physical voting sites, and I was reminded again that when the election comes up, could I inquire about making sure there's something at Tucker's Corners or something so it's handier for people out in that area. I know the last time I think was City Hall and maybe occasions by the Bay, I believe, as I recall. But there seems to be a site concern, I guess, of availability, I'll put it that way, and I said I don't know whether that be considered or not, but I'm sure I'll pass along to staff. So that's one concern in the voting part, over and above how you cast your ballot. If you'd put that in the works or consideration, I guess, so.
Through the chair to Councillor Allier, we did have issue at one point with Tucker's Corners. It was not accessible. The doorway was too narrow. That has since been repaired on the outside entrance. There's a ramp now installed, so it shouldn't be an issue for this election.
Okay, well, they'll look forward to that, hopefully in a year and a half or whatever the exact dates are, I guess, in time. The other thing that I've been getting inquiries on, and it has to do with the DC charges, and I know I asked Caleb earlier. I was pretty sure of the answer. I've had a couple of people call me who are considering doing rural builds, and the one gentleman in particular was afraid that the DC charges were the same as for urban. And I said, you have to remember there are charges for no service, partial service, and full service. And he said the way he interpreted it, I don't know where he got his information from, that a rural build was the same and everybody was paying. And I understand where he was coming from. Why should I pay for water and sewer infrastructure when I have to pay for my own? And but Caleb has assured me that that is still segregated and according to what service you have, whether it's just water and sewer, or none. And so, just for the record, I think people need to hear that, because he was all ready to come. He knows there's an appeal committee coming up. He's been talking to a developer and a builder, and so that is a concern. But I think for the record, they need to understand that if you're doing a rural residential build, it certainly comes under different rating than what a full-service build would be on the urban sector.
Yes, through you, Chair, I can confirm that on the record that it is, you pay for the services you receive. So partial services, you pay partial DC, full services, full DC, and no water and sewer, just the DC unrelated to water and sewer.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Councillor Card.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Kotzebos. Certainly, I think there's been a lot of talk in the community about the recent tariffs, and certainly a lot of fear and mixed messaging and information going around. So I did want to thank city staff for very quickly getting up the landing page. I saw earlier, quintewest.ca/tariffs, as Director Grimman mentioned. Lots of resources there for employees, businesses, tons of information, and I really appreciate hearing that the economic development staff will be in close contact with leadership at businesses and kind of facilitating, helping them where possible, because I know, I'm sure all of us have heard and seen on social media, there's just a tremendous amount of fear and uncertainty, so I appreciate the city doing its part to help relieve that.
Thank you. Councillor Sharp? Councillor Boyce? Any of the directors or city staff? Anything to add? Nothing from that side of the room? Okay. Thank you, everyone. And just a reminder, yes, about the tariffs. If we take a break perhaps from online shopping and really invest in that Shop Local campaign and support our local businesses, and if you don't need anything at the moment or you want to think of getting a gift for someone, gift cards are always a good way to support those local downtown businesses as well. And speaking of supporting not only businesses, but supporting your fellow human, there's a blood donation at Battawa on Monday the 10th. So Battawa will be a busy place this entire week. Everyone, thank you. And we'll move on to bylaws. That these bylaws be read, second and third, and that said bylaws, having now been read and passed, mayor and city clerk or designate be authorized to sign and seal the same. May I have a mover and seconder for that? Councillor Ellier? Councillor McHugh, all in favor? That's carried, thank you. And one resolution again, that confirmation bylaw 25022 for March 5th, 2025. Council meeting now be read a first, second, and third time and be signed and sealed. The mover and a seconder. Okay, Councillor Stedall, Councillor McHugh, all in favor? That's carried, thank you. And two for adjournment, Councillor Reid and Councillor Quinte. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.